Here we are recording another episode of the Danny and Troy show. Oh, I think I jumped in a little bit early there, but yeah, this is us again, Danny and Troy, for another episode of, and in this, this sort of mini series that we've been doing, we've been talking about creative writing and also the importance of creative writing in any industry that you may be, or more so a creative expression that you have access to in any work or industry you might be in, but in particular creative writing for data scientists. And I have been just engaged and absorbed with Danny's pieces and process around his methods of creative writing, and we've got more of the story evolving today. And looking forward to the adventures that Drukpa Cunley and his pal Troy are going to come across and overcome this next piece. So over to you, Danny.
Right. Well, I would like to call to everybody's attention the fact that Troy looks dapper today.
Yes.
And I think this is Miami Vice look. Put on the shades, Troy. Show him your cool shades. This was great. Yeah, he's got like 5 or 6 of them.
Oh, you got to be careful that doesn't happen.
It's okay. We're just rehearsing.
Yeah.
Huh?
Okay.
Fuck you, asshole. It's, Troy, you're some kind of movie character, man. I'm telling you. Yeah. Guy walks in the room and everybody freezes. Yeah. Cool.
Well, that's
I love it.
the image I'm looking for. Going to be...
One thing that you did not mention when you did the intro, it's another thrilling episode, right? This is a thrill.
Yeah,
thrill for everybody. I looked at one last night and we've had 3 people visit. It's like, yes, me, Troy, and girlfriend, maybe your mother, probably somebody
Brother
like
Shane.
Troy, just keep trying. Everything will work out. It always does. Thanks, Mom. Now go to your room and clean up your room. It's a mess. I saw it yesterday. It's horrible. Yes, Mom. But it's life. Life goes on. We are continuing to do a deep dive into Drukpa and his process. Yesterday we were talking about processing. And today, because I found it, even myself as the author, found it a bit trying, because maybe more so for me than everybody else, because it's like I've got a board in front of me and it's got like 10 nails just started on it, and I got 1 hammer, right? And it's straddling my knees, so if I go too deep with the nail, it's going to stick in me. And I feel pain sometimes when I'm writing.
Sure. Right.
Not just emotional pain, but all those other kinds of pain, which I didn't know until I had cancer, how many different kinds of pain there are. Pain is not just pain. It's like different. A lot of, the pain of sticking an ice pick in your knee, or a scalpel like they did in, what is it, Frankenstein. Remember that comedy? It was great. It was like the scalpel in his knee. Yeah. Well, that's not the same as an earache or a toothache or emotional pain,
Sure.
So we never run out of varieties of pain. But since there is some control over this composition by me, if I can keep myself together, it comes to a point where it's like, what's it called? Self-aggrandizement. It's like I'm doing it for myself only. And then it's like, okay, I'm bathing in it. I'm wallowing in it. And then hopefully I can maintain some level of consciousness enough to say, that's enough of that, right?
Okay.
I can't do this anymore. And then we take control over ourselves again and continue. And I like to think that that's what's happening to Drukpa as he is doing a slow recovery from this self-induced pain. So let's see what he has to say. This section is called Time to Stop the Chatter.
Okay.
Here we go. It would be easy to say that he had spent enough time in the confusion. It was clear to him that wallowing in self-pity only brought him further down. He acknowledged that he was weak in some respects, if he chose to use that verbiage. He had to be very careful with words because words defined limitations, knowing that limitations limited him as well. He was not omnipotent. He was omnipotent in his thoughts. He could sail away across the universe at the speed of thought without limitation. He could dabble with ideas without exploiting or exhausting resources. He could construct, reconstruct, and deconstruct without piles of garbage and market manipulation, labor problems, organized resistance, resource depletion, legalities, and 4 tons of added bullshit. He was, however, limited by his material body, by his ability, given the need to be one place or another physically. Once his plan was complete, when he had journeyed exhaustively through all alternatives he was aware of, once he was ready, truly ready, the execution time would be minimal. Long in preparation, short in execution. This was a talent he developed. Like Trump said about business plans, he didn't have one. Not one written down and passed by the local chamber of commerce of which he was familiar, because as such, a plan once written down became dead in the water, discarded and forgotten. This does not mean that planning was not necessary. It does mean that flexibility and knowledgeability and actionability were essential. You can talk all you want, but until something is done, you have no idea what will happen next. Situations change at the drop of a hat. Businesses have value as kindling. No one is obligated to let you know things are changing. Usually the person who institutes a change isn't quite clear that they will, or when they will, or why. They may be taking orders. They may be inept. They too are faced with surprises, whether logistical, supply chain issues, politics, so-called acts of God, force majeure, weather, labor disputes, unknown unknowns, and known unknowns, and what have you. The pool game or the chess game or depends upon a number of factors, including but not limited to talent, experience, friends, intentions, scientific methodology, sanity, sexuality, sobriety, cool hand, charisma, money, analysis, observability, predictability, replication, measurability, for starters. You may also get killed by others who know how to beat you at your own game, people who take what you have and do it for themselves. Intimidation, brute force, greed, manipulation, and a million other reasons. Learn to focus on what you are doing and take some lessons on how to be rude. Learn to stay focused or how to ignore others. We are now skipping past the unfinished list onward. Remember, hatred only serves to eat the hater, and that hatred makes its appearance among the defeated. Hatred is the internalization of anger. If you are angry, express it. Move to Italy. The angry are the defeated. Drukpa's brain felt like it had been folded and stashed away for a decade. Kids used to make necklaces out of gum wrappers, linked together, or other compacts. He might have something. His brother had gotten rich by not knowing how to do anything. That got him into a sales job and a full set of caps, teeth, from midnight grinding. He knew a theater director in New Orleans that didn't know shit either. But they both needed experts around them to get anything done. Brother would fix the sprinkler system by going to the power box, fuck up a few things there, and call somebody in to the rescue. Then he would take all the credit. And he got rich doing it too. Okay, forget the formula bit. Losers become winners in this game. Bubba just spent a couple of hundred grand on his son's wedding and had another one scheduled for August. Twins. What can I say? Bing bada bing, and he's out of there. One in Philly and the other in Seattle. And how do you pay a guy like that back? He used to say, buy a man lunch and he's in your pocket. Let them eat what they want and pick up the tab. Caviar good? Nobody ever published their rule book. Why bother? Nobody wanted to swim in a toilet. You just never know who you might meet. Anchors away, me boys. Remember what they say about successful people. They don't like. Shit floats. Did you bring your waders? Gotta break some eggs if you're going to make an omelet. Hopefully not your own. Now, the stage was set. He'd gone through the rule book, acquainted himself with a few ground rules, surveyed the lay of the land, rapped his knuckles, sharpened his teeth, burned his Bible, got stupid, maybe that's why he was so popular with girls, and was ready to elbow his way to the top. Fuck that ladder nonsense. Those maps are for losers. Work your way up. What a load of horseshit. Want to be successful? Learn to dismiss that bullshit about rich men and the eye of the needle. You know, heaven and being rewarded after you're dead. Next question. Was it worth it? What was the benefit? Besides make the world a better place nonsense, how was he going to do it? Digitally, he had decided. Okay, and he hadn't gotten that far. Moron. First, what was he doing now? Looking for an eagle to ride in on? Don't forget to not let people overtalk you. You don't have to be polite. They aren't. Think like you're in New York. Talk when they're talking. Listen to your own voice. Stay concentrated on your point of view. Sometimes people get nasal, loud, and force you to maintain your composure. Remember the Buddha's prohibition against arguing. Stay stupid. Having to fess up to what may seem an embarrassing moment, especially if that confession is that we have no seeming way forward, may reveal something interesting, if we avoid rushing to conclusions. So let's see. High-reaching goals require different ways of seeing, or else we approach them in a contemporary fashion and thereby remain stuck to the usual knowing ways. That is not the approach best applied to the matter at hand. Let's go on and forget what we are not doing and see if what we are doing is of any possible use. Not laying it out is not necessarily bad. We're just not doing it in the usual way doesn't mean we have no way forward. Waiting for an eagle, or a bus for that matter, on whose back to fly, is still on approach. We are focused on an eagle as a way up, flying over the ground below, and all of its twists and turns and geographic limitations and deterrents. So it is with the bus as well. Okay, 1. Our awareness is pointed in a way in which one possibility is tripwired. What next? Explorations? Keep the idea alive in everything you do, await opportunities that are not as yet clear, but nevertheless will present themselves, especially if one is anticipating them. Life expresses itself in many different forms. It is actually a way of bringing them to you, or you to them. The universe is determined to see you succeed. Continue to do what you're doing. After all, it is all a part of your overall objective. Your overarching objective is a part of your development because it is part of your DNA. Leave it at that and plow on. Taking on partners, which is to say differing perspectives, is always helpful. Don't get nervous and start fretting over splitting your profits with someone before there are any. That time will come or not. So relax and keep your eyes narrowed and open. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. It's always more important to have the eggs. Also, stay open to new impressions. They will tell you what is the net effect of where you are going, and which way is best. You may find that you have lost your desire to go in the direction you first intended. That's evolution, and doesn't mean you have lost your way, but that in your journey you see things differently, especially since you are more informed than you were at the beginning. That's a good thing. Keep plowing. Drukpa had bought an African wooden doll years back of a woman winnowing wheat. Then he came across a wooden surfer doll from Hawaii, and it seemed that these two were constructed of the same wood. Just this morning he put them together. They had been in separate rooms. This may not seem important to you, but everything associated with each doll is now under a new association that, with all of the reasons why these dolls were made and came to his sphere of influence, are now producing different associations. A little like chess, don't you see? Well, this happens with everything in daily life. This is not an uncommon event. One thing leads to another, as the saying goes. Why not here as well? Business associations does not mean we dump all others by narrowing what we accept and what we do not. Keep chugging. There is a certain business intelligence in it all. Edison has been credited with saying that he tried hundreds of elements in experimenting with the light bulb, with each failing. His response was that he had not failed. He had simply discovered hundreds of ways in which it does not work. Thank you, Tesla. Nothing wrong with that. Life's a journey after all. The fun is in living it. Enjoy the ride, not reaching your destination. I agree. People waste their lives in anticipation and find themselves disappointed with the final outdated results. If we see life as a continuing unfolding and recognize that there is no past and no future, we may begin to see life as an ever-present moment, a continuous, or better yet, single moment that cements us to ourselves as a leaf in a stream. The leaf is still a leaf, even when it is in another medium that carries it along with it. Neither is affected as a point of view, except that, as in change, we are never in the same place at any one moment. Time is another matter altogether, which we will address later. Time is a measurement of movement. Thinking of yourself as a success may inhibit your broader development. Success is not a destination. It's better said as an ability to keep your head above water. There may be better things in store for you. Getting to where you thought you wanted to be may be a deterrent to a better destination, one you hadn't considered before you acquired a broader perspective. What you did want is now passé. Perhaps then you may see yourself as successfully moving through life, adapting to every twist and turn, staying afloat, whereas had you remained in one place thinking you made it, may actually place yourself in a feared past where you were ossified, petrified, a relic of some lost civilization now viewed as an unsuccessful culture that didn't survive because of some reason or other, missing the idea that these unsuccessful peoples are affecting you now. So how can they be ineffectual? You have revived their life that is in a time capsule awaiting your association to live again. This too is a step in the journey. The direct line you often hear about is a diversion you are being fed to keep you confused. That is an overall business tactic meant to disable the weak. Swallow this, and you may as well view yourself as having swallowed a mine. You will be consumed by the notion that any wrong move, and it will go off, sending you to kingdom come. My business, I have been troubled for years, attempting to adapt its services to those of the changing market, have me dance like a fool, only to have the market slip from my grasp. Business is a traveling band of gypsies, suckering you to get excited over losing your britches.
Great. Wow. I love it. It's like, I don't know.
Like a drug, isn't it?
Yeah, just re-emphasizing, what I've been saying about creative writing bringing this freedom aspect of being able to write and read, the writings openly and kind of artistically and full of, I guess, I see emotions and feeling. And there's so many, I saw deep, meaningful, messages coming through, and I love that piece in particular because of the extra, I saw linkage to business and direction, and you talked about planning, but there was so many times I was like, that is a great piece of words, like 3 or 4 words, and it's all kind of mixed in with this story that you're telling about Drukpa and his adventures and what's going on in his mind, and this is what I see, really creative expression, in this case creative writing, being about. It's, I don't know if it's done intentionally, but no matter what artistic or expression, whether it's a movie, a play, a story, now I'm realizing that's how it's done. Like, there's messages that are in there and they come forth, and it may be different to the person listening or reading or looking at it, but yeah, there's always that golden piece of advice, or in this case I saw multiple golden pieces of advice and gems in this, what you're talking about. So I'm really enjoying progression, and yeah, I can see how it seemed to change from last piece in terms of the characters being involved, and like I saw more of connection with actually the connections to business and the business process messages. So, oh, Danny's frozen right now. I'll just see if it comes back.